Hello students, I'm Himani Sharma, your UGC NET educator. In this new YouTube video, we are going to move forward with the concept series on paper 1. And today we are going to talk about the two most important types of research which time and again have been asked in the NET examination, that is action and applied research, right? So the names similar, right? We know some way or the other that they are the derivative, or one is the derivative of the other, but how are they different from one another and what are they really used for, right, when we conduct research? So first of all, before even jumping onto the types of research in today's video, I would like to tell you that whenever we want to conduct research, we have an aim in mind that this is a problem and I need a solution to this very problem only, correct? So you choose the type of research based on that very thing only, that this is the problem, I need a solution for that, right? So it is, first of all, we are going to talk about applied research. Non-systematic way of finding solutions to specific research problems or issues, right? So when we talk about applied research, the name itself is telling us that yes, you need the application of something, right, on the research problem to solve the research problem or the issues which are there, correct? These problems can be on an individual stance pe ho sakte hai. These can be on a group or a societal level as well. It is called non-systematic because it goes straight to finding solutions. So when you want the solution to a problem, you know what kind of research you want. You would like to do applied research. Let me give you an example here of the applied research. We all have heard of dowry system, the Indian dowry system, how, the daughter is supposed to, when she is married to another household, she is supposed to bring with her a lot of jewels, lot of wealth, etc. Right? And the in-laws also don't even, resist that very thing that, nahi, we don't need it. So that very system, which is an ill and prevalent in society, applied research will be trying to find the solutions as to what can be done. So the law which is made against the dowry system could be considered what? It could be considered as applied research, because now people are starting to take, of course, these cases have lessened in number. So, of course, that was a particular problem that was on the societal or a group level, and it went on to generalize the solutions. Focuses on answering questions which are specific in nature to solve a specific problem. So, the questions of dowry system and how it can be removed, eradicated from the Indian society is the main concern when we talk about the applied research. What are the other examples of applied research if we talk about? Number one example that I have brought forth is a study on how to improve illiteracy in teenagers. The teenagers who are not very literate, how can we make those teenagers a little bit educated, so on and so forth. So basically, applied research is used in solving problems in this stance. Then the second thing we have here is a study looking for ways to market product for millennials. So in today's time, there is this entire talk about millennials, Gen Z, Gen X, etc. Right? Millennials are the people who are born back in the 1990s, 97, etc. A study trying to decrease fraud on social media platforms. So, of course, this is the specific problem. One person could have come there and registered an FIR, a complaint on the cybercrime portal, etc. And that law now has been established, and of course, for the social media fraud. A study searching for ways to encourage high school graduates to attend college. A study on how to treat patients with insomnia. So you have a specific problem, that is insomnia. You want to treat those patients who are having insomnia. So you are trying to, find certain solutions, right, based on the problem which is provided. Then comes action research. The word Action is telling us that there is a hidden verb which is there, that is to act. So here in action research, you learn things by doing them as well. And of course, this is first point of difference to note down, that it is a sub part of applied research which is done on a smaller scale. So action research will try to find solutions to a specific problem for specific people only. I will not be able to generalize those very particular solutions on some other person, some other group or some other societal level. No, I cannot do that. Applied research can do that on the other hand. Simultaneously investigate and solve an issue. I'll give you an easy example here as well. In other words, as the name is suggesting, you are taking action, you are learning by doing things. So you are acting, right? You are taking an action at the same time. It was first coined, and this has been asked in the NET examination, action research was first coined by Kurt Lewin, right? And it is used in usually social sciences. This one thing as well is important, that action research particularly, or most of the time, it's used in the educational settings. Now, let me just give you an example of the educational setting only. Consider this very thing, that a teacher comes in the class offline mode, right? She comes and she tries to teach students history. Now, when she's teaching them history, she's just uttering factual information. She's not giving them any context. She's just blabbering certain things out of her mouth, etc. So basically, she's traditionally coming here, trying to talk, right? And then just deliver the lecture and leave. But the students, when the midterms happened, the students did not score well. So she was like, no, I need to come up with the solutions because my students are not getting enough attention, or they are not understanding per se what am I trying to teach them. So now she brought visual aids. She tried to teach them, let's just say if she is teaching them the Indus Valley, about the Indus Valley civilization, now she is teaching them through video lectures which are available on the YouTube. So anything which is historical in nature, she is showing them. Also, like she can also ask them to participate in activities and create the seals of Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, etc. So, of course, she is letting the students now actively participate, and now it turned out to be, when the next test happened, it turned out to be the students scored really good marks. Now, what was the whole or the entire thing here? The entire thing, the solution which was there was because of the fact that she changed her teaching method, she reflected on them, and then she analyzed that this is the perfect method of how I should approach teaching this very class. So now, here, why am I saying that it is the one type of research where you are not going to generalize findings. You are just going to generalize findings on the particular classroom setting only. So if let's just say class 8th was unable to understand history and the teacher used visual aids, right? Help them prepare certain, as I told you, seals of Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, etc. So she asked them. So on class 8th only, this very thing will apply, because now they are understanding things through that very thing only and not the traditional type. So this is how you try to find solution to a specific problem which cannot be generalized to the entire classes in that very particular school. It bridges the gap between theory and practice, because the teacher will participate, right, will try to mold the ways which are there. Sometimes it's called a cycle of action. Why it is called like that? Or it is also known as a cycle of inquiry. This very thing, through the example, I've already tried to mention it to you all. This is the one thing that has been asked a lot of time in the NET examination, that what is the usual action of the action research, the cycle of the action research. It is PAOR, in where P stands for plan, A stands for act, O stands for observe, and R stands for reflect. So first of all, the teacher is going to make a plan. Whosoever is going to use the action research, they are going to plan how am I going to change it. Then they are going to act on that very thing. Now she thought that let me just bring out certain maps, let me just bring out certain visual aids. I'll teach students using those very visual aids. Now she is going to act on that very plan. She will bring those visual aids in the classroom. She will observe the effects of the action that she just performed. She will see if the students are scoring well. And then she will reflect that do I again need to make changes? Is there any field like, which is left? Are the students not understanding the map understanding? Right? So she can way more, time ahead. She can change by reflecting on her actions a little bit and then again it will move from plan. So you will firstly plan, then you will act, then you will analyze, right? Observe, and then conclusion, which is reflection. Correct? So this is the usual cycle of the action research, which will keep and keep and keep on moving. Right? It is highly adaptable. These are certain advantages of action research. Highly adaptable. Why? Because researchers, as a researcher, as a teacher, if I am doing it in the educational setting, I'll be able to make changes in the action that I'm trying to think of. Right? Implement practical individual level changes if I want to make any. It provides an immediate and actionable path. Also, one keyword that I would want you all to jot down on your notebooks is that action research tries to improve or ameliorate situations. Ameliorate means improving only. So there were certain students, of course, they had started, UGC NET people have started using difficult words now, so that students are unable to comprehend properly. So if you see this very word, of course, you all are supposed to read the question entirely to understand what has been asked. But these are certain keywords which are also important from the perspective of an action research. Correct? Done correctly, it can be very empowering, informing social change, because now, of course, you are going to make a change in your classroom teaching, allowing participants to affect that change in ways meaningful to their communities. So these are certain advantages of action research. But when we talk about the disadvantages that also come with, of course, because we know that every coin has two sides. So this will also have its disadvantages. Number one is, due to its flexibility, this type of study, that is action research studies, are plagued by very limited generalizability. Which means, as I was drawing the comparison between action and applied research, the conclusions of the applied research can be applied or generalized. But on the action research, you cannot generalize findings. Limited scope is there for the generalizability, right? Very difficult to replicate because, of course, the class 8 students next year will go in class 9. So the research, the method that you applied on these very students only, right? When they will get promoted to class 9, class 8 will be there will be another set of students which will be coming. So you cannot use the same teaching method to the new class 8. You cannot do that, right? They are often not considered theoretically or rigorous due to the part the researcher holds in drawing conclusions. So researcher is of utmost importance, but because of that as well, there are certain limitations which come. It can be complicated to structure in an ethical manner because the researcher can be biased. Participants may feel pressured to participate or to participate in a certain way. So if I am saying that the students are coming in my classroom, I am telling them that you are supposed to perform this very good in the classroom. So they are also, apart from the class, they are also trying to learn certain things in their homes as well. Correct? It is at high research for biases such as selection bias. We have social desirability bias and other types of biases. And when I will be bringing forward another video for you all where we'll be talking about different types of biases. So stay tuned for that very thing as well. So it was more prone to biases as well. Now I have questions for you all as always. Statement 1 says, action research is used primarily to improve a given situation by a practitioner. And this is also a favorite word by the NET examiners. Statement 2 says, applied research is directed at exploring the applicability of principles which are already established. So what do you think is the answer here? These are the options. You can pause your screens. The answer to this question is option A, that both these statements are correct. Action research, already I have told you that it aims at improving or ameliorating a particular situation, especially by a practitioner or a person who is an educator, so on and so forth. Correct? Statement 2 said, applied research, where we apply certain things, exploring the applicability of principles which are already established, like I gave you the example of dowry system. So now there is a dowry law, of course, which is, against the dowry system. So these principles have already been established. Now I can use the dowry law if I see someone, asking some girl for dowry. So these principles which are already established, I can apply them on a particular setting. But yes, of course, you need to know this very thing. Applied research means we can generalize. So it is generalizable. Action research, on the other hand, is not generalizable. This is the difference amongst the two. Next question is, a college teacher plans a research program in which he or she intends to improve the socio-emotional aspect of his or her classroom climate during teaching. Which one of the following research methods will be considered appropriate in this very context? So read the question carefully, pause your screens. The answer to this question is option D, of course, action research, because the college teacher is planning to go forward with the research program to improve the societal and emotional aspect of his or her classroom climate. So improvisation of a particular situation is being talked about here. Hence, when we try to improve a situation, it is action research only, and of course, an educator or practitioner is doing it here. Next question. Following shows the correct sequence in undertaking action research based studies. What do you think is the answer here? We have talked about it. The answer to this question is option A, that is planning, acting on the plan, observing and reflecting, right? Which we talked about as PAOR, plan, act, observe and reflect if I need to make any changes. So this is the usual cycle of inquiry, the usual cycle of action, or the steps in the action research. So I hope things were clear to you when it comes to action and applied research in this very video. I'll see you again in some other video. Thank you so much and have a good day.